मैं हूँ स्टार्टअप इंडस्ट्री की फीमेल शाहरुख खान. ओके, ये मैंने सबको बोल दिया है. I'm thinking IPO. हमें 7 एक्विजिशन ऑफर्स मिल चुके हैं, हमने सबको मना कर दिया. फंडिंग साइड में रखते हैं, उठा लिया, बहुत उठा लिया. अब भाई रियल मनी, कस्टमर रेवेन्यू चाहिए हमें. इतना कटा है ना मेरा यार लाइफ में, इतना हुआ है ना भाई. लाइक 99 out of 100 people have stabbed me in my back, and I'm a multi-millionaire on the paper. Okay, and I have a fucking 200 million committed. That time I didn't have 35,000 with me to even get that premium processing का पैसा. Starting a company to get rich is like getting into a marriage for the sex. Dude, तुमको sex free में मिल जाए, ठीक है? You can make money even being an employee, but don't start a company just to get those high valuations. भाई, किसी का life खराब हो जाएगा. You are here to stay if your North Star metric is retention, because retention is what will take you to profitability, not just randomly spending $100,000 every month on digital marketing. And I अहमदाबाद में 12 साल रही हूँ. You know who are the best businessmen in this world? Gujju bhai. You know, you are a strong, powerful man financially only when you have real cash. Now I think we are in a place where, you know, अगर सब कुछ ठीक है, like fuck, सब कुछ ठीक कैसे है?
कुछ ना कुछ कहीं ना कहीं तो है जो मैं मिस कर रहा हूँ.
Exactly, कुछ तो मिस कर रहे हैं यार. This brown woman is going to now conquer America. America, watch out. I am coming to burn your ass. No problem.
Hello guys, what's up? We are graced here with the presence of ma'am. I will not call you ma'am.
Call you coach.
Coach Sharmin Ali. Sharmin is the co-founder of Instoried.
Founder बोलो ना.
Okay, she's the founder of
मैंने
Instoried.
found किया, उसके बाद co-founder ने join किया, तो
Yeah.
you
So
know,
she's the
credit
founder.
could be given marriage due, no?
She's the founder of Instoried. She's an entrepreneur extraordinaire, if I may say so, because you're kind of a serial entrepreneur.
Second company, हाँ.
Second company, पहली company से आपने exit भी लिया. She is an author. She has a very avid interest in the media ecosystem. She's been very involved in theatre as well in her, I wouldn't call it previous avatar, current avatar और future avatar भी हो सकता है ये.
Exactly.
बिल्कुल. और आज हम बात करेंगे पूरी की पूरी शारमिन अली की जर्नी के बारे में एंड Instoried के बारे में. So Instoried is a AI driven content creation platform which I would call it the small business or other businesses and individuals both can use to create emotionally driven content or communication for whatever marketing / any other kind of communication that they are creating. The whole idea of Instoried is आप जो कॉपी लिखते हैं, आप जो भी कम्युनिकेशन लिखते हैं अपने ब्रांड के बारे में या फिर अपने बिजनेस के बारे में, if there is no emotional angle to it, then the customers don't really are not really attracted towards the brand. And probably Sharmin can tell us a little bit more about how exactly she what is the whole idea of Instoried and what exactly is the philosophy behind it. So welcome Sharmin. Welcome to the Builders Club.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Hey. So Sharmin, यार थोड़ा सा ना आपकी, so the way we do it is we keep it very casual, and the way we were behind the scenes, I guess that is exactly the rapport that we also work in front of the camera. So idea वही है मैम कि बहुत ही casual discussion है. Problem क्या होती है ज़्यादातर entrepreneurs के साथ that people think that entrepreneurship, तो उनका ना perception about entrepreneurs या फिर finding a company या building a company is very different. So we want to kind of show them the reality of an entrepreneur's life और क्या challenges actually में face करता है कोई. आज चाय आ गई मैम, चाय पीते बात.
अरे वाह, thank you.
ठीक है. And we'll basically talk about कि reality में एक entrepreneur की जिंदगी कैसी होती है. और इसीलिए हम शुरुआत करेंगे आपकी माइंडसेट को समझने से पहले एंटरप्रेन्योर को समझना और rather the individual, you should know the individual first,
totally,
rather than the mindset. So Sharmin, आप थोड़ा सा अपनी लाइफ के बारे में बताइए. How exactly, where were you born, where did you study, what did you work, And eventually, how did the whole idea of Instoried come?
वाओ, ये तो पता है 1 घंटे में होगा नहीं फिर, ठीक है?
थोड़ा सा संक्षिप्त।
एथॉस पेथॉस सब भर दिया है मेरे लाइफ में।
आप प्रोफेशनल से ही चालू करो।
हाँ, पूरा एकदम शेक्सपियर की अगली किताब sort of an experience रह चुका है, but ठीक है। So, born in Kuch Bihar, you know, North Bengal, आपको तो पता ही होगा, I'm sure, लेकिन yeah, for the greater audience. तो वहाँ पे I was born because my mom's from there. And then उसके बाद moved to Assam because my dad was he was in ONGC basically, you know, so transferable job and stuff. So lived there for like 2 years and then moved to Ahmedabad, lived there for 12 years. So Ahmedabad actually is the one city which has really like shaped me, you know, because most of my schooling was there. तो Ahmedabad में हुआ क्या ना कि as a kid, मतलब, you know, मुझे काफ़ी बाद में पता चला कि I've suffered from depression from a very long time. You know, not too many people are even aware कि हो क्या रहा है, लेकिन मुझे बाद में जाके समझ आया कि, you know, I've had a very depressed childhood. There have been many reasons for that, of course, you know, and the starting point of that was in Ahmedabad. So, आपने सुना होगा about the Gujarat riots and earthquake and ये वो, right? तो 2001 में पहले earthquake हुआ. उसके पहले ज़्यादा लोगों को पता नहीं है, लेकिन 2000 में एक फ्लड भी हुआ था। तो मैंने तो ये बहुत ही गंदा फ्लड था, तो I've seen a flood वहाँ पे in the year 2000. But 2001 में I've seen you know, the whole earthquake happened and some 7.9 Richter scale, right?
8 point something there.
So you know, it was 7.9 almost. So you know, and then a building fell and you know, we were like staying in a rehabilitation camp for 2 months.
Your building fell?
Yeah, so you know, वो सब कुछ at the age of 11, 12, right? उस time पे when you've seen all that, तो काफी एक effect पड़ता है, you know. And then 2002 the riots happened, you know. So that is when we had to flee from Ahmedabad. In the middle of the night in an ambulance, we were driven to, you know, the airport. And thanks to my dad's colleagues and, you know, because he was at a very high post in ONGC and stuff, so they were like, नहीं, family को बचाना ज़रूरी है. So then बच गए, but you know, seen a lot of fire and a lot of bloodshed and things like that, right? So, and I wasn't a very expressive kid, you know. I was someone who would just keep things to myself. Also because as a kid I had a stammering problem, really bad stammering problem. वो भी ज़्यादा लोगों को समझ नहीं आता है, but then as a kid it was pathetic, you know. So always mocked at, made fun of, and although I was the topper in class throughout, so people wanted my notes. तो वो लेते थे, but you know, उसके बाद later on, while mingling with me, they would make fun of me a lot. I mean, now most of them are my friends also, but you know, as a kid, when someone's doing it to you face to face, right, it does have a very drastic effect on you, right? And then you tend to, you know, keep things accumulated inside, and then, you know, like वो suppress होते, and then it does have long lasting effects. And then my parents were also probably not able to understand, you know, why was I being so silent, and, you know, I mean, why wouldn't I express myself much? So that huge communication gap also happened with parents. बाद में जाके of course समझ आया, and then you know, now they are way more supportive at 34. But I'm talking about when I was like 11, 12, right? So you know, मतलब like 20 साल से ज़्यादा you know, बचपन की बात है, right? So that time was quite depressing. But then yeah, after that again moved to Assam post the riots, because my dad got transferred. So 9th and 10th was there, and that is when I found out how beautiful the northeast part of India is, you know, Shillong, and then, you know, Assam, and you know, I mean, Meghalaya, Assam, and then Sikkim, and you know, all of these, Nagaland, so beautiful, Manipur and all. तब उस टाइम पे बहुत घूमा था, and then उसके बाद वहाँ जाके, you know, sometimes my dad actually jokes and tells me कि ये जहाँ जाती है मुसीबत इसके पीछे आता है. वहाँ पे the Ulfa insurgency was happening, and you know, because they wanted a separate state for themselves, right? तो Assam में. So my dad was at a pretty good post there. He was like the head of that particular division in ONGC. So they were like, ये दो वरना बेटी को किडनैप कर लेंगे. And वहाँ किडनैप होना मतलब कभी वापस नहीं आ रहे हो. So then my dad was like, यहाँ तो नहीं रह सकते, ये तो हो गया कल्याण. Okay, so then I moved to Delhi at 14 and a half ish. And for my, just after my 10th, no, just after my 10th, so at 15, yeah, to DPS Arkipuram, and 11th and 12th, yeah, and I think DPS Arkipuram was one of the best things that happened to me because I was away from home, like completely independent hostel, right, and the kind of people that I met, and then dormitory lifestyle, etc. And so that is when a lot of my personality development and the way I am today and the way I think and the way I as in empathy and stuff, right, I think all of that started from there. And then the MMS incident also happened in when I was 12. Yes, she was my batchmate. I mean, when I was I was in 11th standard, I think. Yeah, I was in 11th. Yeah, 2003. Yes. No, it wasn't 2003. It was 2005. It was 2005. Yeah, 5. Because I remember 2006 was when I came to when I went to Bangalore for my engineering.
And that guy who was caught for that MMS thing was my senior in IT.
Oh.
Rituraj.
Wow.
बताइए.
कहाँ है अभी भाई साहब?
पता नहीं. But I remember my mother saying कि भाई क्या चल रहा है तुम्हारे कॉलेज में.
Wow. Seriously. So yeah, and then engineering happened. Vishwasvaraya in Bangalore. And that life was like, from being the topper all throughout my schooling to suddenly being like, अरे वाह, हम तो तैर रहे हैं सब लोगों के साथ. And like, okay, I have bunked class like nobody's business. But yeah, anyway, and then that's when, name it, any school, any college event, any sort of a fest, be it dancing, be it dramatics or, declamation competitions, theatrics, or, be it raising money from sponsors, doing whatever, right? I was all over it. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, everything, like total independence. And yeah, that is when, life sort of, actual life happened, and saw a lot of things, ups and downs, and then figured things out. And then, yeah, started my first job back in Mu Sigma in 2010, and joined them as an analyst. They soon understood that I was meant to be in sales, and so moved me to into sales. And then US happened, and then वहाँ पे काफी साल रहे and stuff, and then Wall Street में बहुत कुछ किया बचाया, life happened, and then yeah, I mean figured out that no, this is not what I want to do. Because I was like, I was just helping the rich get richer, wasn't adding too much value to my own life, and like, no, I'm done. For me, charity always begins at home. पहले अपनी मदद करो, जैसे वो फ्लाइट में नहीं बोलते हैं कि पहले खुद सांस लेना फिर किसी और की हेल्प करना. So I am like absolutely वो, you have to be in a position wherein you are stable enough financially as well to be able to help anyone. So then I came back, started my first company. Plan was to build India's very own Netflix. Ran that for about 3.5 years, wrote like 70 plus scripts, created a lot of content on YouTube, Vimeo. We had an amazing team, and I think those 3 years were the best years of my life. Because I learned so much, made all sorts of mistakes, but that's a time when you don't have any responsibilities, nothing. So like, okay, you can do whatever the fuck that you want to do. So yeah, I did all those things, and then realized one very important thing, that we were a lot ahead of our time, so because the whole geo-internet revolution was still picking up, and people were still very much prone to consuming content on their television sets, and as opposed to on their mobile devices or on their laptops. So we were like, यार अच्छा ठीक है, यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा time लग रहा है अभी भी. So we decided to sell the copyrights of all our scripts to a Bombay-based production house, took the money, exited, and then एक साल के बाद I was like, अरे यार क्या कर दिया एक साल और रुक जाते. Yeah, and then though, like 2018 onwards, Netflix, Prime, everything has been on fire, and then Hotstar, Voot, and Sony ले पता नहीं अब तो सब कुछ है. So I was like, अरे यार. But then you know what? I don't really regret it, but I do feel nice sometimes that I see a lot of my content trending on like multiple platforms. Though I can't claim any copyrights on it because now it's like किसी और का नाम चिपका दिया उन लोगों ने. but anyway, so yeah, that happened, and then I wrote 2 books, got them published. In between all of this, and then but yeah, one thing that has always stayed is my love for content. I just love content. I love reading, anything and everything to do with stories. Like that is me. So I was like, listen, if I have to do something, it has to be in the content space. So pehle video content creation se I was like, what next? Chalo ab, like let's dabble into like text-based content. And this time it was a very, very calculated, as in like, we knew the mistakes that we made earlier. We knew how to correct them, what to do, why is funding so important, and why is tech so important, how to essentially get tech into the right place, how to market your products well. So this time when we started, we were, I was like, okay, I think I know where I'm getting into. So got my co-founder, and I think he's been the biggest support in my professional journey. Without him, and I'll definitely give credit where it's due. Without him, it wouldn't have been possible. So he builds the tech, I sell, I raise money, and so yeah, basically I'm the man in the relationship that I've told him, I'm the one who's gonna get money on the table. So that's how things happen. And Instoried, basically, the initially what we were building was Instagram for stories. So something like Wattpad and Medium.com ka mixture. But then the biggest challenge was that how do you monetize it, right? So I was like, mujhe ads nahi dikhane, because when you show ads, then the whole fun to actually read content gets diluted, right? I was like, if I don't believe in something, I don't want to sell it. So usko fir pura band karke, then we started full-fledged product development that we have right now. How do you generate exciting copy in order to connect better with your audiences, right? So we call it game, as in like GAME. Like, okay, let's play the game, yo. So G as in generate content or copy, and then A as in analyze the emotional engagement quotient of your copy. Then measure the impact that your content can have upon your audiences, and also engage better with your audiences by getting smart recommendations from the AI engine that is there. So GAME, and these are the 4 things that we do. We are the world's first and only tool so far to have built an end-to-end content platform which does all these 4 things, GAME. So yeah, we are, and that too built it in-house, so हमको थोड़ा time लगा, but now it's redemption time, so yeah, it's good.
Very nice, yeah, very interesting story. I think your journey as an entrepreneur has also, as an individual also, you have gone through the required ups and downs.
Yeah. I didn't talk about my relationships. That's like a different ball game altogether. Oh my god.
do you really think relationships affect?
Oh, so much. So much. Any entrepreneur who's saying ki yaar, I don't want to be in love because love fucks it up and stuff. First of all, come on, get real. It doesn't matter what your orientation is. We all need love in our life. We all need companionship. And especially if you're an entrepreneur, your life is so fucked up, because n number of things to do, right? HR, finance, marketing, tech, maybe there are 1000 cheezein, and then sales, usme 1000 cheezein, right? And then customers, and God help you if you have investors on board. Your life is hell, and you really want to go back home to someone and just cuddle.
I agree.
Forget the sex. You just want to cuddle. Sex to band mein aayega, time hona chahiye. But you just want to cuddle and just be able to talk your, heart out. Someone without any sort of pretense, because that's what we all need. Earlier I couldn't talk about it so freely, so how many therapy sessions I've taken. We hated to talk about it like this. So, but yeah, good that I did it, because understanding that, your mental health, it is so important. That you have a healthy mind, and to run a company, if you don't have that healthy mind, you cannot do it. So whatever it takes to get there first do that. Because the kind of pressures day-to-day life, right? It's insane, irrespective of ki, aap kya bech rahe ho, aapki kya company hai. But relationships have a huge effect. And now I am in a place where I can say that, okay, if there is someone who I know is that, he or she is not healthy enough for me, instead of dragging it, I would just cut them off. I'm like, because your life's like a tree, right? A relationship is not my life. It's one of those branches. But now, if that branch has got cancer, instead of that spreading to the entire tree, like, मैं ही मर जाऊँ, उसको काट डालो, निकालो, instead of dragging it. But earlier I was like, I cannot let go of people. Earlier I was that. But now I know कि, okay, no means no सिर्फ sex में नहीं होता है, life में भी होता है. You should know where to stop. You should know when to say no. In fact, genius is that when you know कि कहाँ पे line आप draw कर सकते हो. तो ये चीज सीखा मैंने, काफी टाइम लगा मुझे, but yeah, finally I think now I'm there. So relationships are so important, and the kind of people that you mingle, not just like a sexual, physical relationship, emotional, mental meaning, like any sort of a business relationship as well, right? It's very important कि वो एक toxic जगह से ना हो.
इसमें तो मतलब I think people usually don't understand कि यार आप अगर मान लो किसी के लिए काम कर रहे हो, तब प्रॉब्ली आप एक पर्सनल और प्रोफेशनल लाइफ को अलग रख सकते हो, because you have a certain delivery to make. ठीक है, आप फिर सारी की सारी चीजें जो पूरी की पूरी कंपनी आपके ऊपर रेस्ट नहीं कर रही है, और कंपनी के जो मेन डिसीजंस हैं वो भी मतलब आपके ऊपर रेस्ट नहीं कर रहे हो. यहाँ पे when you become an entrepreneur, I think the emotional support is as much required, if not more. Than your own acumen. क्योंकि चलो यार काम देखो, skill set तो finding a good skill set or having a good skill set is something which is मतलब fairly common. But what differentiates an entrepreneur from somebody who's probably very good at their job is probably this बोलते हैं ना mental toughness. क्योंकि entrepreneur की लाइफ तो आधे से ज्यादा टाइम तो unpredictable ही होती है. It's very ambiguous. कि आज आपने कुछ प्लान किया और कल नहीं हुआ, तो फिर अब क्या करोगे आप? You can't, and half the time मेरे ख्याल से usually entrepreneur के दिमाग में, I don't think successful entrepreneurs think this way, but a lot of people usually have this thing, बंद होने की कगार पे अगर आ जाए आपकी कंपनी की तरफ, क्या करोगे? Do you really want to push it?
There are actually a bunch of ways to actually look at it, right? What is that one thing that we human beings hate the most? Uncertainty, right? मुझे आंसर चाहिए, वो मेरा फोन क्यों नहीं उठा रहा है? What is he doing? Is he busy with someone else? We are so bad at actually dealing with uncertainty, right? As an entrepreneur, successful is the one exactly who's not just embraced it, but is like कि यार कल अगर कंपनी बंद भी हो जाए, it's okay, कुछ ना कुछ तो कर ही लेंगे. When you start loving that uncertainty and start enjoying that zone, यार ठीक है, आज तो है, like let's live the moment. Like when they say carpe diem, right? I understood what it actually means after running a company, and Instoried has just given me so much, taken away so much from me equally. But the learning and the kind of things that I've seen, my team is my life. I haven't told this to anyone, although I've done so many podcasts, but this is the first time I'm going to say this. My investors also don't know it. Every month end, I transfer salaries myself. I don't let anyone in my finance team do it. And why do I do it? People are getting high on random shit. I get high on this. I'll tell you why. Okay? Because, so we are like 40 plus people now in the company. And when I transfer money at the end of the month, and I do it myself, and I get the OTPs and stuff on my phone, right? The kind of feeling that I have, that 40 people 40 लोगों का घर चल रहा है मेरी वजह से, you know, and all of that struggle that I've seen in, you know, I mean, investors and relationships and parents, family, whatever, right? I'm like, this is so worth it.
Yeah.
You know, that mental एक वो जो gratification जो आता है ना अंदर से कि यार अरे भाई कुछ तो किया है, you know, किसी की तो लाइफ हमने, you know, किसी की लाइफ तो चलो एटलीस्ट बन रही है मेरी वजह से, मेरा पता नहीं, you know, half the time we don't know, but चलो कुछ तो कर रहे हैं, you know, so
ये मैंने देखा है, पता है बहुत सारे एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के साथ, मेरे साथ भी होता है कि we usually sometimes forget about ourselves.
yeah,
हम फिर दूसरों के पर्सपेक्टिव से ही चीजें देखते हैं और चलो ये हो रहा है ना, उसको मिला कि नहीं पता, मिला आएगा कि
हाँ, exactly, you know, I mean, Instoried has actually taught me empathy. You know, or I mean, even if you look at all our PR, right? We are always talking about generating empathetic content, selling empathy, right? But आप empathy बेच नहीं सकते unless and until you are not an empathetic person yourself. You know, तो इतना empathy समझ आया है. और another one very important learning that has been, you know, कि no matter where you get to in life, you know, success, name, your fortune 40 under 40 or whatever, you know, talking to the who's who of the world and, you know, traveling like amazingly well, and, you know, no matter what happens, all of this is transient, you know, this is not forever. Anything can happen, you know, markets are crashing and, you know, things can happen. The only thing that will stay with you is your humility. You know, so be humble, be nice to people, and don't lose the people who were there with you when you were nothing. You know, those people, like, this is what I've learned in, you know, like, I'm like, if there is anything that I want to tell another founder, I'm like, bhai, tu mehnat karke seekh jayega how to run a company. You know, skill sets acquire हो जाए या फिर get the right team, ये सब कुछ सही है, ठीक है, tag along with the right people, be opportunistic and, you know, do all of that, fine, but nobody can teach you this, you know, as in how to be an empathetic human being. If one of my employees, if her mother had cancer and, you know, she was like, Sharmin, I don't know what to do, mujhse nahi ho raha hai, you know, because she's like, listen, I'm not even to live at home, you know, because my mom's there and, you know, I have to go and like clean her stuff and then, you know, I have to take her to the hospital and I have to come back home and work. I'm not able to focus, and she is my star performer and I cannot let her go. And I'm like, listen, you take a month off, you know, fully paid leave, take a month off, but please come back. You know, that girl has been there with us from day one, you know, and she's like, I will never leave you, no matter what you're doing, what you're building, you know, and that happens. In fact, initially मैं हमेशा ऐसे नहीं थी, you know, because like I also have pressures, right? But then my co-founder is like, listen, calm down. We gotta be a little grounded. It's okay. Shit happens. It's fine. I'm like, investor, ये वो क्या करे, ऐसे करे, competitor, ये blah blah blah, whatever. You know, ये नहीं हुआ. This milestone, deadline, blah blah. You know, he's like, calm down, dude. It's okay. It's okay. Fine. We are fucked. Let's accept it. Move on. You know. So, like these things are happening, and now I think we are in a place where, you know, अगर सब कुछ ठीक है, मैं like fuck, सब कुछ ठीक कैसे है?
कुछ ना कुछ कहीं ना कहीं तो है जो मैं मिस कर रहा हूँ.
Exactly, कुछ तो मिस कर रहे हैं यार. You know, and मैं गॉड like जब सब ठीक है तब भी प्रॉब्लम है. So yeah, but then, you know, it's like we've fully embraced uncertainty. And we're like, okay, ठीक है, जो है, but let's enjoy this journey.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we have become slaves to our own dreams, right? Because anyone who says कि, you know, starting a company and then building a company and then being somewhere, कि, you know, आप independent हो नहीं हो, एक तो, you know, there's no luxury, there's no liberty. You're a slave to your own dreams because we have investors and, you know, they've put in some good amount of money, so I'm answerable to people. Lekin I'm like, yeah, I don't want to go crazy, you know. I mean, I'm not someone who wants to get a cardiac arrest tomorrow because I've not slept in like 7 days, you know, कि यार क्या हो गया. Like people are actually getting that or going crazy because of depression. That I started this because I was like, मुझे मजा नहीं आ रहा था ना, you know, I wasn't enjoying doing, you know, as in working in a corporate setup. But now अगर मुझे इसमें भी अगर पता चले कि यार मैं मरने वाली हूँ, what's the point, right? I'm like, let's enjoy this journey. ठीक है, देखते हैं कहाँ जाएगा, इट्स ओके। अगर कुछ नहीं भी हुआ तो कुछ और कर लेंगे, कुछ और नहीं तो कुछ और सही, बट आई डोंट वांट टू बी लाइक कि नहीं यार मजा नहीं आया फिर से, यू नो। तो most people they take so much tension and they go crazy, but don't go crazy, start enjoying this uncertainty, you know. I think उसमें मजा है, like get high on that.
मुझे तो ये लगता है कि if you are even thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, you have to embrace ambiguity.
Totally.
आपको देखो सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम मतलब see, I think this has a lot to do with the way we are brought up and the way our वर्क कल्चर इज एज वेल, राइट। तो हमारा तो वो होता है ना, एम्प्लॉई माइंडसेट अगर आपका होता है तो आप वही करोगे जो आपका बॉस आपको बोल रहा है। तो यू ऑलवेज हैव समबडी टेलिंग यू व्हाट टू डू। The moment you are an entrepreneur, there is nobody to tell you what to do. Right? So you are defining your own goals. So सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम होती है कि चलो बहुत लोग, and that's the reason why we always tell, at least in the club, जितने लोग भी हमारे पास आते हैं कि यार आप इसलिए entrepreneurship मत चालू करो because you are bored of your job.
Yeah.
Because then
I'll tell you something. I'm so sorry. I keep cutting you in between because you know all these things are coming to my mind. You know, most people today are becoming entrepreneurs because they want to make money.
Yeah.
You know, these high valuation stuff. You know, I am like, dude, starting a company to get rich is like getting into a marriage for the sex. You know? एनालॉजी आप समझ रहे हो? You know, I'm like, dude, तुमको सेक्स फ्री में मिल जाए, ठीक है? You can make money even being an employee or you know go do an MBA, go abroad. US में जाके काम करोगे 5 साल, you'll easily be more than a करोड़पति, ठीक है? But don't start a company just to get those high valuations, भाई किसी का लाइफ खराब हो जाएगा. You know, don't do this. And I've seen people, you know, I mean, I won't take their names, but they talk to their employees in such terrible ways, you know. Yeah. I'm like, dude, he or she is not your slave. Show some respect, you know. I mean, ठीक है, if you don't have the money to pay salary, but at least show them the respect, you know, because prestige is such an important trigger for us humans, right? Yeah. It doesn't matter आप रिक्शा चला रहे हो कि, you know, आप एक, I mean, आपकी अपनी Mercedes है जो भी है, right? But if you don't get the respect and if you don't give that respect to people, तो ये जो मतलब पैसे का ये जो भूत है ना लोगों के अंदर, and you know what, मतलब money doesn't come to those people who are actually chasing it. This is what I've seen. You know,
I completely agree.
Funsuk Wangdu was so right.
नहीं, but मैं बता रहा हूँ लोग इसको philosophy समझते हैं, but this is actually true.
This is actually true.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, making money is an art, clearly, but don't chase it. You know, I mean, do something. Yeah, the minute you start having fun, you know, and when people know कि अरे यार ये तो सही है, you know, they will automatically come to you, and that's exactly what happened in, you know, with Instoried. We raised money during COVID without a product. You know, we were like यार क्या हो रहा है, you know, and people were like कि नहीं, we will gamble on you, you know, on me. Like they've told me. And they just keep, you know, they keep going pro rata, they keep investing only because they're like कि नहीं ये कुछ तो कर लेगी, क्या करेगी देख लेगी, but कुछ तो कर लेगी, you know. I'm like इतना confidence है मुझ में, चलो thank God. You know, but that's the only thing, यार मजा आना चाहिए, right? And then you see how money chases you. Like don't chase it, let it come to you. Yeah.
A lot of people have this fascination. मैंने गलती की हुई है इसलिए मैं आपसे पूछ रहा हूँ. A lot of people think that कितना मजा आएगा ना अगर बॉयफ्रेंड गर्लफ्रेंड दोनों एक कंपनी.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
What's your take on that? Then I'll tell you why.
No, I will never do it. I will never do it. You know, because I mean, there are people I know. I have friends, husband, wife, doing things, right? And they're doing it really well. I don't know, but so you know, the thing is, this is just me. The relationship at home and the relationship at work, right? There has to be that fine line that needs to be drawn. वो बहुत ज़रूरी है, क्योंकि क्या होता है ना कि when at work, okay, now I will talk from a woman entrepreneur's point of view, okay? And the thing is that it's not very easy for a lot of men to first of all be okay with, you know, the woman having the kind of you know, exposures that an entrepreneur's life demands, right? I travel the world and I'm traveling, I'm always traveling alone, like be it short trips, long trips, whatever, and I'm meeting investors. We go, have drinks together. We go and like, we have these meetings, we play like, board games and stuff until like 2-3 a.m. at night. Okay, and not every person can be okay with that, with that sort of a thing, right? Okay, unfortunately, but yeah, so बहुत difficult हो जाता है एक तो for from a woman entrepreneur's point of view to explain it to the partner कि यार ये ऐसा है, ऐसा नहीं है. चलो ठीक है, but I mean now there are some really nice men who are like, it's okay, fine, we're having fun. But then what happens is that when you're working together, right, so the relationship does get affected because of all the time you're together. Now many people might say कि यार वो mystique element is missing now totally because you know everything about each other. But the thing is कि यार मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि like when you are building a relationship versus building a company, right? तो the kind of mental support जो आपको चाहिए, right? वो ना मतलब थोड़ा फिर मैसअप हो जाता है. मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि because एक दूसरे की जर्नी लोग समझ नहीं पाते. बट व्हाट्स योर टेक?
यार मैं तो भुगत चुका हूँ.
सीरियसली? ओह माय गॉड, क्या हुआ?
नहीं, माय फर्स्ट कंपनी, दिस इज वे बैक. ठीक है, मतलब 2016-17 के आसपास की बात है. सो me and my girlfriend both started a company. My girlfriend of that time. And प्रॉब्लम क्या हुई ना कि ये जो इमोशनल सपोर्ट वाली बात है ना, ये राइट. आई थिंक whenever we had a problem here, I am very aggressive when it comes to business, and she was not. वो काफी laid back, and I think that it also had something to do with the working compatibility. We do not understand how important working compatibility is. Just because you are friends with somebody or just because आपकी किसी के साथ बनती है, इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि शायद आप लोग साथ में काम कर सकते हो. Especially ना pressure cooker kind of a situation. Right, so I was very aggressive, and मेरा क्या था ना कि I used to push her a lot, and I'll not take names.
Yeah.
Whenever we used to discuss about work, she would basically, become the girlfriend.
Yeah.
Right, so फिर चीजें spill होनी चालू हुई. First from work to home, and then home to work, and then later on हो गया कि I'm always with my colleague, I'm not with my boyfriend.
Yeah.
And the business was doing really well.
Oh.
Just because of the relationship, we had to leave the business as well.
One thing that I completely agree. Now I have dated so many entrepreneurs, so many, and because that's my circle of people, right? And most of them have been like either CEOs या फिर like COOs, whatever, right? So एक चीज which I completely agree कि I mean, आपके केस में it was like you were aggressive and she wasn't, but मेरे केस में, my current boyfriend, both of us are very aggressive, and we are like कि यार ये तो कुछ ज़्यादा clashes हो जाएंगे, and एक चीज जो है which I have learned, and I've told this to my co-founder Sutanshu, and the reason why we are the perfect match when it comes to being co-founders is because in any relationship one person will always be थोड़ा सा ऊपर and the other one will be थोड़ा सा नीचे. ये एक working relationship का एक वो compatibility check होना बहुत जरूरी है. कि even in your personal relationships, any relationship in the world, थोड़ा बहुत you will see कि यार एक इंसान जो है मतलब थोड़ा ऊपर है और दूसरा थोड़ा सा नीचे है. And it's not very easy for a lot of founders I've seen to actually accept it. And nahin, I have a say, no, I will have this, I'll have that, कि nahin, mera sahi hai. Companies like housing.com and they were doing so well initially, right? 7-8 founders and stuff, but then wo clashes start hone lage because there are 7-8 stakeholders and stuff, right? और यहाँ पे if the two stakeholders are like boyfriend girlfriend also and both are equally aggressive, decision making will be so delayed. कि कंपनी तो नहीं चल पाएगी यार. ये तो बहुत डिफिकल्ट हो जाएगा.
मेरे ख्याल से अंडरस्टैंडिंग योर ओन सेल्फ इज अ वेरी underrated topic which not a lot of people actually have you मतलब do you do meditation or anything
Oh yes,
like that?
yes. I try to. You know, now meditation again has like different forms, right? Now to some people prayer every day in the morning. They sit and pray
Focus,
because that's
मुझे तो लगता है
focusing.
focus.
Yeah, focus, right? Focusing on whatever. So yeah, different ways of doing it. For me, I go walks. I mean, like I go on long walks. Like when I say long walks, like 5-6 kilometers. You know,
अच्छा.
like 1 घंटे के लिए मैं गायब हो जाती हूँ.
फोन बंद करके.
फोन like you know.
Very nice.
छोड़ो घर पे कहीं और बस चलो. You know, it in बैंगलोर में तो कितना पोल्यूशन है, you know, ट्रैफिक है, stuff, but ठीक है, never mind, चलना है तो चलना है, चलो चलते हैं.
बहुत सही.
You know, I do that 1 hour almost every day is my time to just cut off from everybody. You know, I'm like कुछ भी हो जाए, I'm not gonna miss this. So that is my way of meditating. You know, and that's also when I think a lot and you know try to reflect upon some of the things that I might have said a few days ago or whatever. We all have our days, and then yeah, but every day 1 hour I do this.
Very nice. बोल रहे हो ना आप, जो बोल रहे हो ना कि कंट्रोल, you know, taking control of your own mind.
Yeah.
is something. और आजकल मेरे ख्याल से we live in a world of distractions.
So much.
I think आगे अगले 4-5 साल में I think the people who will be able to focus properly are the ones who will actually be successful. तो थोड़ा सा मैम Instoried पे भी आ जाते हैं.
हाँ, tell me.
So यार ये जो Instoried है, टेक्निकली आप बताओ करती क्या है आपके हिसाब से, आपने किस इंटेंट से बनाई है, एंड हाउ हैव यू सीन योर विजन बीइंग ट्रांसलेटेड इन टर्म्स ऑफ द वे द कस्टमर्स आर यूजिंग इट, बिकॉज़ बहुत टाइम ना ये एक डिस्पैरिटी होती है, हम सोचते कुछ और है बनाते टाइम और यूजर्स कुछ और ही करने के लिए यूज करते हैं.
या नो एब्सोल्युटली यार, मतलब लोग 50 मिलियन लाइक उठा के दे लाइक अब क्या करें इतने पैसों का, पता नहीं, बोल तो दिया बहुत कुछ. नो एक्चुअली यू आस्क लाइक हाफ द फाउंडर्स इन दिस कंपनी, आई मीन नॉट बिल्डिंग फिजिकल प्रोडक्ट्स, टैंजिबल चीजें तो यू नो कि क्या बेच रहे हो, राइट, बट टेक लाइक हार्डकोर लाइक डीप टेक, अब क्या करें.
अरे ये तो मैम बहुत, मैं बता रहा हूँ, प्रॉब्लम इज द वे वी हैव ग्लैमराइज्ड पिकिंग अप फंडिंग.
या टोटली
इज दैट हमारा गोल है फंडिंग उठाना. पीपल डोंट अंडरस्टैंड इट्स अ मींस टू एन एंड. आप पैसे क्यों उठाते हैं, ठीक है. होता बहुत लोगों की ये ना स्पेशलिटी होती है, बहुत लोगों का एक्सपर्टीज होता है पैसे उठाने, यू नो, वो लोग पैसे उठाने में एक्सपर्ट है, अब उसको यूज करने में
आपके ही भाई लोग हैं, ठीक है, आपके ही भाई लोग. क्या मतलब यू नो, ये तो
मेरे से नहीं होता ना, मैं बता रहा हूँ, मेरे से
आईआईटी का टैग है तो लो बेटा पैसे लो.
मुझे तो कोई नहीं देता.
What is this rat race going on, dude? So I'll tell you, ठीक है, मेरा बहुत ही सिंपल विजन है यार, ठीक है. थिंक कंटेंट, थिंक Instoried, सिंपल. यू नो, मुझे ज्यादा सफिस्टिकेट करके घुमा फिरा के ये नहीं बेचना है. वेरी सिंपल. इफ यू थिंक एनीथिंग रिलेटेड टू कंटेंट, यू शुड थिंक ऑफ Instoried. ओके, तो हमने बहुत गलतियां करी है, बहुत चेंजेस करे, बहुत पिवट्स मारे हैं हमने, बट अल्टीमेटली अभी इस गॉड लेवल के क्लैरिटी पे आके पहुंचे. यू नो, फाइनली आफ्टर टॉकिंग टू लाइक आई डोंट नो लाइक थाउजेंड्स ऑफ कस्टमर्स इन द लास्ट 3 years, फाइनली वी नो कि अच्छा ठीक है, अब कहाँ पे हैं, अब क्या कर रहे हैं, राइट. तो वी आर लाइक कि यार देखो, एज अ कंपनी, मतलब लेट्स से इफ आपका जो भी है व्हाटएवर दैट यू आर सेलिंग, राइट, Evercare फॉर एग्जांपल, राइट, एंड इफ यू वांट टू डू एनी सॉर्ट ऑफ मार्केटिंग, आपको कोई भी कंटेंट बनाना है, करेक्ट, तो उसके लिए फिर आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा, यू विल हायर अ कंटेंट राइटर, कंटेंट मार्केटिंग टीम, या फिर डिजिटल एजेंसी, मार्केटिंग एजेंसी, जो भी है, राइट. तो हमारा विजन बहुत ही क्लियर है कि यार आप जो है, मतलब यू नो, यू विल डेफिनेटली हैव बजट कंस्ट्रेंट्स बीइंग अ यंग स्टार्टअप, ऑफ कोर्स, लेट्स से, और एनी कंपनी. तो इन दैट केस फिर आप क्या करोगे, यू नो, डोंट स्पेंड सो मच मनी. मेरा काम जो है इज टू गिव यू एन अ राइटिंग असिस्टेंट वाला प्लेटफॉर्म, जिसमें कि आप जाओ, लॉग इन करो, यू नो, स्टार्ट यूजिंग इट. उसमें सर्टेन टेम्पलेट्स बने हुए हैं कि आपको फेसबुक के लिए बनाना है, किसके लिए बनाना है, क्या बनाना है, राइट, वो आप बनाओ, एंड देन जो है कंटेंट पब्लिश करो, यू नो. तो यहाँ पे द वैल्यू प्रोपोजिशन इज वेरी सिंपल. वैल्यू प्रोपोजिशन इज प्रोडक्टिविटी. इट इज नॉट कि यार मैं आपका कंटेंट राइटर जो है रिप्लेस कर रही हूँ, यू नो, बिकॉज मेनी पीपल थिंक कि ओके is AI going to completely replace content writing, right? I mean, content writer का जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ेगी, copywriter won't be needed. That is bullshit. ऐसा नहीं है, because I'll tell you something funny. Most of my competitors and they are using OpenAI, sorry, GPT-3. Everyone's now like कि हाँ ठीक हम भी बनाएंगे. Their biggest challenge is not to build the tech. Their biggest challenge is how to retain the customer. Because अगर अब OpenAI वालों ने क्या किया है कि 1 billion plus जो है, मतलब 1 billion, okay, हम लोगों ने टूल बनाया 50 million डेटा पॉइंट्स लेके, उन लोगों ने बनाया 1 billion डेटा पॉइंट्स लेके, right? And now Microsoft is the one which is pretty much taken it and like partnered and selling it.
ये तो open source है ना?
नहीं ओपन सोर्स नहीं है. OpenAI is paid. No, GPT-3 is not free. अरे it's not free. It is very expensive.
Okay. And who owns it?
So it is owned by OpenAI. OpenAI is the name of the company.
Okay.
और Microsoft is the one which is selling it. मतलब they've partnered with Microsoft. भाई बहुत महंगा है. ठीक है. लेकिन the thing is कि उन लोगों ने 1 billion data points use करके टूल बनाया. उसके बाद सारे लोगों ने जो है अपने अपने टूल्स बना दिए यूजिंग देयर APIs. अब इतना मेहनत करने के बाद अगर आपको सेंटेंस आता है ग्रीन टी कैन क्योर कैंसर, तो आप क्या बोलोगे? ऐसे when there are such meaningless sentences being generated in the name of content generation, what will you tell to that, right? So can technology replace human requirement when it comes to writing? No. So our thing is very clear. I am not trying to replace a copywriter. I'm trying to aid him in his content journey. How to make it more productive, more efficient, help him save time, right? ताकि आपको अगर if you have to generate like 100 pieces of content every day, product descriptions हो गए, then titles for your, let's say, Instagram posts, etc., right? Ad copies, whatever. तो उसमें आप क्यों time waste करेंगे? Get n number of iterations from this platform. उसको edit करो, आप जो भी करना है करो. तो that is the game here. And another thing is कि I mean this is where we started. But then अब इसमें there are many different angles, right? तो पहले आप generate करोगे, फिर आप analyze करोगे, right? कि क्या emotional engagement quotient आ रहा है ना? Tone क्या है, कैसा opinion लग रहा है, positive, negative, neutral, right? तो अब पहले क्या होता था कि all of this was being done very very manually, right? मतलब इंसान बोलता था कि हाँ ठीक है, sounds positive, sounds negative. मैं like dude, what is this? Let's get tech into it. तो हमने जो है 50 million data points use किए, basically 50 million sentences हमने उठाए from different platforms, right? And then उसको clean up किया, tag किया to tones, emotions, whatever. तो emotions में we show joy, anger, fear, sadness and surprise. Surprise, anticipation, same. So as a marketer, हम आपको उस level की democracy से जो है, I mean, we are trying to introduce you to that level of democracy where you're like, okay, listen, if I am selling a baby product, I'm basically selling joy to a parent, right? Now, if my sentence sounds कि यार, okay, insurance जब आप बेच रहे हो, तो basically आप डर बेच रहे हो, है ना? कि कल अगर मुझे कोविड हो गया, तो मुझे पता होना चाहिए कि ICICI Lombard जो है मेरा क्लेम जल्दी प्रोसेस करेगा. So I'll go to ICICI Lombard as opposed to let's say Bajaj or whatever, right? तो इंश्योरेंस में, हेल्थ केयर में बेसिकली आप डर बेच रहे हो, तो वहां पे आपका डर सही होना चाहिए. तो लो टूल यूज करो, देखो कि आपका कितना फियर क्वोशंट है, क्या है, राइट? हाउ अलार्मिंग इज योर कंटेंट साउंडिंग लाइक. बट एज समवन हु सेलिंग लेट्स से डायपर्स, यू कैन बी लाइक तुम्हारा बिस्तर गंदा नहीं होना चाहिए. गंदा तो होगा ना, बच्चा है ऑब्वियसली. यू हैव टू बी लाइक कि ओके, एज अ पेरेंट use this because I mean, have you ever seen on any Pampers का ad कि वो लोग बोल रहे हैं कि आपका बिस्तर गंदा होने से बचाए? नहीं, right? Because that is basically selling fear. वो क्या बोलेंगे कि smiling baby, comfortable baby, right? No rashes. Pampers is no rashes, right? Why are they doing it? Because they are selling joy. They're not selling fear. वरना बोलते कि आपका बिस्तर गंदा नहीं होगा, लो पैम्पर्स यूज करो, तो now instead of doing it in a very manual way, they are like यार let's use tech, right? तो वो हमने एक content analysis वाला पार्ट डाल दिया उसमें. फिर अब आपने content generate किया, उसको analyze किया, अब नेक्स्ट क्या करोगे आप? पब्लिश करोगे, राइट? नाउ पब्लिश करने से पहले गूगल एनालिटिक्स विल टेल यू कि आफ्टर पब्लिशिंग कितने लोगों ने क्लिक किया आपके एड्स पे, या फिर यू नो हाउ मेनी पेज विजिट्स, लाइक ऑल ऑफ दोस क्वांटिटेटिव रिजल्ट्स. बट गूगल एनालिटिक्स विल नॉट टेल यू कि यार इवन बिफोर पब्लिशिंग देयर इज नो वन हु कैन टेल यू कि आपका कंटेंट कैसे परफॉर्म करने वाला है. दैट प्रिडिक्टिव एलिमेंट, राइट? यार लाइक, तो मैंने 5000 डिजिटल नोमैड से बात करी थी बिफोर आई स्टार्टेड दिस टूल, एंड व्हाट दे सेड इज दैट लिसन, if you can tell me how my content is going to perform, it's going to be a huge aid, you know, before I can even publish it. तो हमने वो डाल दिया.
पर वो कैसे करते हो? How do you do it?
Historical data लेकर और उनके performances देखकर we've built a predictive model basically. You know, statisticians हैं जो लूटते हैं हमको, they charge a lot of money, you know, and then this is what they do. So वो हमने डाल दिया उसमें that prediction capability. And then last is कि okay, now that I know कि ये content perform अच्छा नहीं करेगा, तो मुझे क्या करना है? अब मुझे edit करना पड़ेगा ना obviously. तो smart recommendations आपको टूल देगा which will tell you कि इस word की जगह ये word use करोगे तो देखो आपका इतना percentage performance बढ़ जाएगा या इतना percentage performance कम हो जाएगा. That's the reason I say कि, you know, we are the only tool in the world which has built something end to end. So game, you know, generate, analyze, measure, engage, right? And मतलब, you know, it's like a DIY plug and play sort of a thing, right? कि यार अभी कंटेंट बन गया, अभी ये हो गया, ऐसे हो गया, you know, मतलब एक पूरा एक वो प्रोसेस हमने बना दिया. हमको 3 साल लगे, ठीक है, 3 साल लगे, लेकिन हमने कोई GPT-3 या you know मतलब ऐसे कुछ IBM Watson, ये you know all these things वो नहीं किया हमने, खुद से बनाया.
खुद से डेटा पॉइंट्स.
या बिकॉज वी वर लाइक कि यार ये कंटेंट इंडस्ट्री जो है ना, दिस इज फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल येस इट कैन गेट क्राउडेड बिकॉज ऑफ प्लेटफॉर्म्स लाइक GPT-3, बट यू नो इसमें अगर टिकना है ना आपको, देन देयर हैज टू बी अ ह्यूमन एलिमेंट. ओके, सो build a writing assistant and then fortify it with a human element. Okay, so that human element is our in-house team of सेंट स्टीफेंस को हमने लूट लिया है. बेसिकली लूट के आ लिया, मतलब उनको हेल्प किया है. बहुत सारे सेंट स्टीफेंस के यू नो लिंग्विस्ट्स हमने जो है ले लिए. Other than the fact that they look very good, you know, the thing is that they even write really well. So we're like, okay, tech being fortified by great human capacity, that is what is here to stay, you know.
Yeah.
So that is what
tech
we are
will
doing.
Always be an enabler. Tech will never replace.
Exactly, you know, this is what I'm saying, that listen, tech is an enabler, it's a writing assistant, it's not a replacement. तो आपको डरने की जरूरत नहीं है. What I'm saying is कि आप अगर पहले 10 कंटेंट बना रहे थे, आज फिर आप 10 के जगह 30 बनाओ एवरी डे यूजिंग दिस. और अगर आपको ह्यूमन हेल्प भी चाहिए, वी हैव अ टीम ऑफ लिंग्विस्ट, you know, on demand content generation, right? Content as a service. You know, content as a subscription service basically, right? I mean, पहले SaaS था, अभी हमने उसको CAS कर दिया. So yeah, our vision is very simple. Think content, think Instoried, you know.
So आपके अभी competition में फिर पेपर content भी आ जाता है?
हाँ बिल्कुल आ जाते हैं, क्यों नहीं आता?
नहीं, so basically आपका जो Instoried है, that's primarily built keeping the business in mind, keeping the brands in mind. It's not.
तो अभी हम B2C में भी आ गए हैं. We have like 2 million B2C users now.
Wow.
Yeah. तो छोड़ने नहीं वाले हम किसी को.
नहीं, but ये जो आपका pricing model है,
Yeah.
it's a subscription model.
Yeah.
I understand, right?
Yeah.
So are there मतलब feature wise tiers available with different features, or it's like a...
So right now we haven't done that. You know, इतना complicated नहीं करा. अभी मतलब कि चलो सब use कर दो. You know, because right now we're a little more focused on engagement. कि थोड़ा engagement बढ़ा देते हैं, and then after that we will, you know, like Grammarly has a freemium version, and then premium चाहिए तो ये features, ये तो नहीं, right? तो अभी हमने सब कुछ डाल दिया है उसमें कि इतना पे करो तो ये सारे मिल जाएंगे, right? We've just kept a limit on the time कि you know, I mean like इतने time में इतना ये होगा, ऐसे होगा and stuff. तो
so आपका basically, so from what I understand, I think it's an end-to-end platform. Right?
End-to-end, yes.
तो इसमें अभी आप इस इंडस्ट्री में 2-3 चीजें, मतलब I think we have anyways covered it, but I wanted to take your take on it कि यार अभी जो हमने अभी GPT-3 के बारे में बात की, a lot of people are fascinated by this, and there's a lot of
Yeah.
noise around it. मतलब noise, visibility है तो मेरे ख्याल से a lot of people are giving it a shot. A lot of people whom I know have basically started using copy.ai and other platforms like those, right? Versus
Yeah.
there is an
They are
audience.
competitors, हाँ.
Yeah, so copy.ai हो गया, Grammarly हो गया. ये मतलब मैं तो B2C and extremely small जो लोग जुगाड़ वाली बात होती है ना, जो 1% 2% वाली जो companies, at least मेरी visibility वहाँ तक है. I think you can basically add on more about it here as we progress up the ladder in the business size. उतना ज्यादा पैसा होता है लोगों के पास, right? So your target is, so एकदम नीचे वालों के पास ज्यादा पैसा होता नहीं है, तो वो लोग, why does anybody go in for a copy.ai? Because they lack the manpower, they lack the bandwidth, right? The higher up you go, there are companies or there are tools which are used for optimization rather than just fulfilling the workforce जो disbalance है. आपका वाला प्रोडक्ट जो है ये किस टारगेट के लिए, मतलब किस स्ट्रेटा के लिए है?
Right. So, right now we are in the SMB mid-market space.
50 to 100 kind of.
Exactly. Yes. So right now we are there. But then you're right when it comes to enterprises, right? Because companies that are spending, let's say, $50 million per annum on their marketing. Now, what they do is they will hire someone like a WPP, Omnicom, publicist kind of guy कि यार ये हमको चाहिए सब बना दो, right? इतना पैसा लो सब बना दो, right? And then will come the the Ogilvies of the world, which is also a part of WPP. But then I mean ये बना दिया, now अब ad बनाना है, right? So with them, what will happen is that with them it is more of the human element as compared with just the tech element, because you're right कि this kind of a technology, when you look at a B2C play, yes, right? I mean all the freelancers, media guys, and then journalists हो गए या फिर marketers हो गए, right? Marketers, इन सब कुछ चाहिए होता है, of course. So like a $49 plan per month लो and then use करो and makes it easy. Startups, both seed funded or like not funded or even like very well funded startups. But the main money in this industry is obviously, as always, with the enterprises, right? Because when you have the capacity to spend $50 million annually on just content, you obviously want to work with those people, correct? So now in order to work with those people, that human element is very important, That is the reason. So now we are working with a few enterprises and now we've understood this कि सिर्फ tool बेचने से नहीं चलेगा, content as a service भी चाहिए होगा, Now, तो वो कैसे होगा? उसके लिए these very smart St. Stephen people are there in our team, जिनका content writing capacity is like पता नहीं क्या करते हैं, but एक दिन में like 50,000 words लिख देता है. I was like, भाई, this is like half a manuscript, dude. But that happens, and because with an enterprise उस level पे content चाहिए, तो that is where we've understood कि यार अब अगर profitability पे जाना है, because both in a good way and in a bad way, right? Now that whole funding boom has kind of gone, right? Because of the whole recession funding winter बोलो जो भी बोलो, and Ukraine war हो गया and stuff and then all of that. तो now people have understood कि यार पैसा तो उसी में डालेंगे जो profitability के रास्ते पे है.
तो इतने साल क्यों लगे समझने में?
इतने साल तक तो मतलब $1 million तो बस चलो ठीक है, अच्छा तुम IIT से हो चलो 1 million, अच्छा तुम IIM से हो चलो 2 million, like start करो, लो बेटा 1 million का प्रसाद रखो types, But now people are like, okay, no, unless and until there is some real value being sold, right? I mean, you won't believe this. I'm not gonna name that competitor of mine, but on their pitch deck, they'd written that content writers have generated through our platform 1 million words in 1 week. Okay, I'm like, भाई ये अलग level की vanity बेच रहा है ये आदमी, ठीक है? And 2,000 content writers have created 20 million words in 2 weeks, like something like that. Okay, ऐसे लिखे हुए चीजें. Like, dude, अब तुम्हारा North Star metric, it cannot be the number of words that are coming out of your
absolutely
platform.
agree.
It has to be retention of your user. You know, it has to be कि कितना, what is the average time spent by a user on your platform. You know, कि कितने number of API calls हो रहे हैं. आप ये नहीं बोल सकते हो कि यार एक बंदे ने जो है, you know, 1 मिनट में 10,000 वर्ड्स का देखो हमने देखा. यार वो लोगों की अपनी राइटिंग स्पीड होती है, या फिर वो शायद कहीं से कॉपी पेस्ट कर रहा हो, who knows, right? But you are here to stay if your North Star metric is retention, because retention is what will take you to profitability, not just randomly spending, you know, like $100,000 every month on digital marketing. Acquisition is very easy. Retention is the biggest problem. So your North Star metric has to be retention up.
कितनी बार यूज कर रहा है, किस यूज केस के लिए यूज कर रहा है,
या कितने सारे API calls हो रहे हैं per minute, what is the average time spent by a user. You know, ये नहीं बोलो कि यार उसने 10 डॉक्यूमेंट बनाए, अरे 100 बनाए, उसकी मर्जी यार, उसमें क्या है. उसने बनाए, उस पापा ने बनाया, बेटे ने बनाया, whatever. But the time spent and you know how frequently is the person coming back, that retention का जो भी metric होगा, that is what will take you to profitability. अब आप वो B2C करके करो या फिर B2B करके करो या फिर you know, I mean whatever it is, right? तो
इसमें भी मैम I take this example of Evernote usually, कि वो बेचारा इतना अमेजिंग प्रोडक्ट बनाने के बाद भी ना मतलब थक गया होगा, because then users को ना फ्री की आदत लग गई और उसके बाद nobody is willing to pay. ठीक है, और इन्वेस्टर्स भी फंस गए कि चलो ट्रैक्शन तो आ गया, पैसा नहीं आ रहा. तो व्हाट्स योर टेक ऑन दिस रेवेन्यू, बिकॉज़ अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल, अभी अगर आप नॉर्थ स्टार मैट्रिक की भी अगर बात कर रहे हो ना, दो चीजें हो जाती है. वन इज ट्रैक्शन, आपने CLTV बिल्ड कर लिया, लेकिन द यूजर पेड कस्टमर्स में कन्वर्जन वाली जो बात आ जाती है, वो दैट्स अ डिफरेंट बॉल गेम ऑल टुगेदर. वी हैव सीन दिस विद द बिल्डर्स क्लब एज़ वेल, कि हमने 25,000 की कम्युनिटी बना ली फ्री में, जब पेड करने की बात आई देन वी सॉ कि यार 20 लोग माथा बच्ची करेंगे आपके साथ 5,000 रुपए देने के. ठीक है, सो वी बेसिकली वांटेड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि यार ये फ्रॉम अ रेवेन्यू पर्सपेक्टिव व्हाट्स योर यूजुअल टेक ऑन दिस.
you know, earlier I was like funding उठाते हैं. You know, when I started,
फंडिंग इज द रेवेन्यू.
funding is important. टेक कंपनी चला रहे हो, you know, because SaaS में तो मार्केट फिट इतना जल्दी मिलेगा नहीं. ठीक है, तो रेवेन्यू तो हमको मतलब पैसा तो चाहिए, बर्न तो करना पड़ेगा. एंड SaaS is all about burning, you know, because acquisition में बहुत पैसा जाता है, राइट? तो लेकिन अब समझ आ गया है कि यार अगर लंबा सोच रहे हो, because I'm thinking IPO, हमें 7 acquisition offers मिल चुके हैं, हमने सबको मना कर दिया. I'm like कि यार अगर IPO जाना है, because we have a $200 million capital commitment ready sitting, कि भाई कब IPO जाओगे बताओ, क्या विजन है. उसके लिए revenue is everything, you know. तो if you can get revenues, no matter what you do, what you sell, product है, service है, जो करना है करो, अगर revenue है, you know, पता है एक चीज जो समझ आ गई थी, ये ना एक इसका, I mean I'm just diverting a little bit. मैं ना अहमदाबाद में 12 साल रही हूँ, पता है, you know who are the best businessmen in this world? गुज्जू भाई. पता है, उसके पास एक्चुअल पैसा है, ठीक है. बायजूस के पास पेपर में पैसा है, you know, it's all on the cloud. No, like nobody knows what's gonna happen, right? You know, you are a strong, powerful man financially only when you have real cash. You know, on the paper उसका कोई वैल्यू नहीं है. You know, मेरा
तो ये मानना है मैम कि देखो असली पैसा तो कंस्ट्रक्शन और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में ही है.
Absolutely. Yeah, ये तो है ही बिल्कुल. इनफैक्ट I mean, you know, like owning a property, right? Now Bill Gates has put in so much of his money into like organic farming, agriculture, ये वो, right?
US का सारे farms Bill Gates के पास है.
Bill Gates के पास है. क्यों है? इसीलिए because of course, you know, it's like real money flowing in. So yeah, revenue is very important. ये अब समझ आ गया है. Yeah, and now there is no turning back. We've just hired 5 incredible sales people और एक sales VP अब join करने वाला है. So, you know, I'm like कि भाई this brown woman is going to now conquer America. America, watch out. I am coming to burn your ass. Now, I am like कि अब तो there is no looking back. you know, so yeah, that is the vision कि भाई अब पैसा मतलब फंडिंग साइड में रखते हैं, उठा लिया बहुत उठा लिया, अब भाई रियल मनी कस्टमर रेवेन्यू चाहिए हमें, वॉट एवर इट टेक्स, प्रोडक्ट सर्विस whatever. I am not gonna burn money on marketing and just do shit. No, it has got no value, you know, because यार सब कुछ देख लिया मैंने, सब कर लिया, पहले था कि कंपनी का लाइक वैल्यूएशन, ये वो सब, वो सारे फेजेस थे मुझ में, बट नाउ आई एम लाइक, हाँ वो सब कर लिया, वो लाइक 3.5 साल में सब कर लिया, सब देख लिया. Now it's like, okay, we will be, next high is going to be when we are profitable. And our vision is कि अगले 1 साल में profitable होना है. तो 12 months में 3x growth हमको करके दिखाना है, कुछ भी हो जाए, 200% growth अगर ये अचीव कर लिया तो बस.
इसमें लेकिन 2-3 चीजें आ जाती हैं मैम, कि एक तो you have to close a lot of things that you are doing right now, which probably don't make sense in the longer run, मतलब in your scheme of things.
Yeah,
but these might be things which might be very close to you.
Yeah.
So how do you kill your darlings?
So like killing my darlings is very difficult, like इतना एक वो रियलिटी चेक हुआ है ना, मेरी टीम ने मुझे कराया कि देखो बेटा ये आपने स्टार्ट करा था अब ये तो बंद करना पड़ेगा, ये तो नहीं कर सकते. तो the thing is कि it's not easy, of course it's not easy, because मुझे तो सब कुछ करना है, मुझे तो TLC का मॉडल भी बनना है, मुझे तो IPO भी जाना है, मुझे तो शेफ, लाइक मुझे तो मास्टर शेफ में भी जाना है, मुझे तो सब कुछ करना है मुझे लाइफ में. बट एक टाइम आता है ना when you know कि क्या प्रायोरिटी है. तो अब उस फेज में आ गए हैं लाइफ में at 34 started prioritizing कि भाई ये करना है तो पहले ये करते हैं, ठीक है, पहले ये अचीव करेंगे, उसके बाद नेक्स्ट पे जाएंगे. So right now I am not looking at, okay, again I'm diverting, like the reason I own an iPhone and not a Samsung is because मुझे iPhone का एक चीज़ बहुत पसंद है, एक ही प्रोडक्ट है, उसके मल्टीपल एनेबलमेंट्स करके वो लोग लाइक iPhone 14, 15 whatever आ गए, राइट. लेकिन Samsung अगर आप देखो, राइट, there are 100 different types of phones. लाइक यार इतना मतलब कंफ्यूजन है जब आप किसी रेस्टोरेंट में जाते हो, राइट, और आप मेन्यू देख रहे हैं उसका, तो when there are so many options, right, when your sample space is very high, the probability of you choosing something also becomes difficult, right, कि how do you decide. तो अब मुझे वो करना है कि भाई मुझे एक ही चीज़ करना है, डिसीजन मेकिंग फॉर माई कस्टमर, इतना क्लैरिटी आना चाहिए. बेसिकली मेरी लाइफ में बहुत अनसर्टेनिटी है, लेकिन मुझे मेरे कस्टमर की लाइफ से अनसर्टेनिटी को हटाना है. आई वॉन्ट टू मेक इट सो ईजी फॉर हिम और हर टू सिलेक्ट एंड डू थिंग्स कि भाई हम ये 3 चीज़ें कर रहे हैं, ऐसे ऐसे कर रहे हैं, ये प्राइसिंग है, आना है तो आओ, ठीक है, ये हम कर सकते हैं, इसके बाहर अभी हमारे स्कोप में नहीं है. बट कमिंग सून वी विल बी लाइक, राइट नाउ वी आर इनटू टेक्स्ट. Next, okay, first time announcing this. Next, going into speech to text. First time. We haven't even told this to anyone yet. So, उसके बाद, and then after that videos, right? Of course. So like text and speech are so broad and like इतने सारे use cases हैं इसमें, right? I mean, we can go IPO with just with just these 2 things alone. So priority is एक वो difficult डिसीजन मेकिंग है, ऑफ कोर्स, बिकॉज मुझे तो सब कुछ करना है, लेकिन अभी मुझे IPO जाना है, तो TLC कैन वेट. इवन व्हेन आई एम 50 आई लुक सेक्सी, सो आई एम लाइक ओके, लेट्स डू दिस फर्स्ट.
सो बेसिकली कस्टमर फोकस्ड पर्सपेक्टिव है जहाँ पे उनको कंफ्यूजन नहीं होना चाहिए कि यार
बिल्कुल
सब कुछ कर रहे हैं,
declutter,
even if everything makes sense, even if everything is working perfectly, वो यूजर एक्सपीरियंस में सही, यूजर जर्नी में सही बैठता है.
बिल्कुल.
That's a very
like अपने कस्टमर के लाइफ को इजी बनाओ, declutter, कि यार मतलब वो नहीं बोलते इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स में attenuation, right? I mean, with the noise, same thing, कि यार बहुत noise है, सब like people want to do everything, but do just one thing or maybe two things, you know, to fortify that one thing. That's why now we have a product, वो तो हमेशा से ही था, and we have content as a service, जिसमें कि humans can generate content for you, but you have to subscribe to it. So it's all tech enabled, but you know, content generated by humans
आपको
on top of
और चाहिए तो फिर आप
yes.
So I think then you're also getting into the agency business, which might be a little bit difficult for you to scale, but that might only be reserved for people with top talents.
Yeah, only for enterprises, not for everyone.
तो ये होता है ना for enterprises scholars वो elephant होगा. A lot of times business is dictated by what the investor wants. Many a times. ठीक है, तो दो चीजें हैं यहाँ पे. एक तो मेरे को ये समझना है कि यार how has your experience been with your investor?
Yeah.
And secondly, यार many a times there are things which an investor might say कि यार ये चीज आपका competitor कर रहा है, आपको भी कर लेनी चाहिए.
Oh yeah.
ठीक है. So how do you usually navigate around those bits?
I'm very good at it, yeah. But seriously,
Okay.
when talking to investors, I'm the poo. That is me, you know. Like, you know, I'm like, yaar, I know what I'm doing very well. ठीक है. आपके पास पैसा है, बहुत अच्छी बात है. I respect your money. You respect my talent and you know my foresight, my vision. You do what you do best. आप मुझे पैसे लगाओ और ठीक है, एंड आई विल डू व्हाट आई डू बेस्ट. ठीक है कि यू नो मुझे पता है कि कस्टमर को क्या चाहिए, मार्केट को क्या चाहिए. यू नो एनीबॉडी हु सेज कि यार आपके कंपेटिटर के पास ये है, आप भी ये बना लो, चलो ऐसे टेक कर लो, यू नो ये कर लो. लाइक पीपल हैव आस्क्ड मी, आप लोग क्रिप्टो में कुछ क्यों नहीं कर रहे हो? कैन यू बिलीव इट? आई एम लाइक, कर रहे हैं यार, अगली बार से यू कैन पे विथ योर इथेरियम टूल यूज करो, पे विथ इथेरियम हो गया क्रिप्टो. ठीक है, अभी हम ला रहे हैं, वो भी ला रहे हैं, क्यों नहीं लाएंगे, डेफिनेटली लाना चाहिए. राइट. फिर किसी ने पूछा कि क्या कहते हैं, यू नो ये जो अपना अभी जो चल रहा है इलेक्ट्रिक, राइट, बहुत चल रहा है अभी इलेक्ट्रिक.
अरे तो इसको कैसे घुसा रहे हैं, ये तो आपस में
हाँ तो
तालमेल ही नहीं है.
अरे बुला लेंगे तालमेल, that's what we are saying. ठीक है. I'm like हाँ बिल्कुल हम कर रहे हैं. I'll tell you क्या कर, अरे सब हो सकता है, तुम बोलो क्या चाहिए. बोलो क्या चाहिए. मेरा काम है ब्रांडिंग, मेरा काम है विजन बेचना, मैं बेचूंगी. इलेक्ट्रिक चाहिए, वो भी ला देंगे. कैसे लाएंगे बताओ. ये जो सारे इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल के जो स्टार्टअप्स वगैरह है, राइट, मैं उनको फ्री में, आई एम नॉट गिविंग एनीबडी एनी प्रमोशंस, आई एम नॉट टेकिंग देयर नेम्स. तो उनका जो भी चैट जो भी होता है, राइट, विद अ कस्टमर, है ना, तो हमने कहा कि ठीक है एक नया यूज केस हम डाल देते हैं. सिर्फ इलेक्ट्रिक क्यों, स्विगी जोमेटो जो है सबके साथ डाल देंगे. इफ यू हैव एन एंग्री कस्टमर हु इज चैटिंग विथ यू with your chat agent, now how does the chat agent know ki what is the you know sentiment emotion that your angry customer is facing right now? Instoried. लो आगे हम इलेक्ट्रिक में भी ठीक है, बोलो क्या चाहिए, मैं सब कर दूंगी. ठीक है,
अरे यार ये
बस
केस है,
ऐसे I deal with my investors. I'm like I'm the best.
but
I am, you know, no, I'm not kidding. When I'm talking to investors, I am in my poo mode. I am in my Anil Kapoor mode. You know what I'm saying?
I'm the best.
I'm the best. Seriously, ये मतलब जिस दिन आप इस चीज को डाइजेस्ट कर लोगे कि भाई she is the best, इसमें पैसे लगाओ, बस हो गया, life set.
But how important is perception for an investor? Or is it
everything? It is everything. Reality no one cares. Perception is what sells.
नहीं, but मान लो आपने कुछ बोल करके इन्वेस्टर से पैसा उठा लिया, उसके बाद you don't do what you're doing, then what happens? मतलब what?
So you back it up with the right story, कि why aren't you doing
हाँ,
what you're doing?
ये बहुत बार वैसा होता है ना कि आपने एक स्टोरी पे पैसा उठाया, पैसा उठा करके उस पैसे के साथ कुछ और करने लगे. How does that go with investors usually? पूछ रहा हूँ मैं आपसे.
They know I'm the best. मैं हूँ स्टार्टअप इंडस्ट्री की फीमेल शाहरुख खान. ओके, ये मैंने सबको बोल दिया है कि भाई तुम्हारा पैसा तुमने जब लगाया, तुमने लगाया $1 million के प्री मनी वैल्यूएशन पे. आज कितना हो गया है? आई एम नॉट रिवीलिंग माय कंपनीज वैल्यूएशन, बट उनको पता है कितना हो गया है. तो अब बस हु इज द बेस्ट? आई एम द बेस्ट.
I think उनका नॉर्थ स्टार मैट्रिक क्या है? उनका नॉर्थ स्टार मैट्रिक तो रिटर्न्स ही है ना at the end of the day.
एब्सोल्युटली.
क्या फर्क पड़ता है कि आपने पैसा लगाया, आपने फाउंडर के ऊपर पैसा लगाया, अपने आइडिया को
पर
पैसा
एक
लगाया.
चीज जो मैं which I will definitely tell, people are very bad at PR. उनको नहीं आता है कि कैसे PR को यूज करें. That's something I'm very good at. If you just look up Instoried's PR, you will, and I mean anyone who's been following us from a long time and knows कि यार मतलब हर कंपनी का सिर्फ एक ही फेस हो सकता है. ठीक है, एक ही फेस होना चाहिए और एक ही बैकबोन होना चाहिए. ये इस कंपनी का फेस मैं हूँ, बैकबोन मेरा को-फाउंडर है, और ये हम दोनों में बहुत क्लियर है फ्रॉम day one कि a beautiful face is what people like. है ना? तो
ये बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग
ये मतलब ये यहाँ पे ना क्या करना पड़ेगा कि अपना एटीट्यूड, अपना ये कि यार मुझको भी चाहिए, आई एम द को-फाउंडर. इफ यू रिमेंबर, आई वाज टेलिंग यू सम टाइम बैक कि किसी भी रिलेशनशिप में एक इंसान थोड़ा ऊपर होता है, या दो वन थोड़ा नीचे होता है. ये आपको एक्सेप्ट करना पड़ेगा एज अ को-फाउंडर, एज अ फाउंडर, वट एवर इट इज, राइट? CEO, CTO, CEO, कि भाई मेरे रिटर्न्स इज नॉट फ्रॉम PR. मेरे रिटर्न्स इज व्हेन वी गो IPO. एक्चुअल पैसा आएगा. शी इज द वन और ही इज द वन, व्हाटएवर, जो कंपनी को आगे लेके जाएगी. उसको लेके जाने दो. शी इज गुड एट व्हाट शी इज डूइंग, लेट मी एक्सेप्ट इट. जिस दिन आपने ये एक्सेप्ट कर लिया और आप यू मेड पीस विद योरसेल्फ एज अ को-फाउंडर, राइट? There's a lot of peace in that relationship.
नहीं, I completely agree.
I think ये founder trouble जो है ना, वो वहीं पे चला जाएगा. And that is one reason, the biggest, one and the biggest reason for companies to fail, startups to fail is कि co-founder trouble, right? Founder नहीं बन रही है, ये नहीं हो रहा है, right? Vision, execution तो बाद में आएगा. यार पहले अगर रिलेशनशिप में पीस ही नहीं रहेगा तो बच्चे फिर कहाँ से? बच्चे तो चूतिए पैदा होंगे तुम्हारे. Right? So my relationship with my co-founder Sudhanshu is like epic, bruh.
कैसे मिले आप? How did you people meet?
अरे दोस्त है मेरा बहुत सालों का यार.
लेकिन आपने वर्किंग का मतलब आपने पहले भी काम किया था उसके साथ?
नहीं, पहले काम नहीं किया था.
How did you?
तो हम लोग मिल चुके हैं काफी बार, मतलब लाइक ड्यूरिंग अ कॉलेज फेस्ट वगैरह, राइट? हैकाथॉन्स एंड स्टफ में हम लोग मिले थे काफी बार. तो वन थिंग आई नोन कि मतलब like जिस तरह से he used to code and everything, right? And he's very grounded a person, yeah. तो एक रिलेशनशिप में एक हाइपर और एक ग्राउंडेड थोड़ा अच्छा होता है ना. थोड़ा कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री स्किल सेट्स तो चाहिए. तो I mean I'm the one who's always jumping around, right? I'm the best, so I have to be jumping around. I am high without any drugs. I'm always high on life. So he's the calm composed one कि हाँ क्या चाहिए, चलो हो जाएगा. I'm like कब होगा, अभी चाहिए. He's like शांति. तो तो exactly it's a match made in heaven. तो जिस दिन आपको ये समझ आ जाएगा ना कि भाई सबसे पहले अपने को-फाउंडर को खुश रखना सीखो. I mean without revealing any details, यार you have to keep your co-founder happy. अगर आपको जो है मीडिया एक्सपोजर मिल रहा है, इसको कुछ और एक्सपोजर मिलना चाहिए. what I'm saying? Whatever it takes, keep your co-founder happy, and that is one equation which can never be hampered. You know, even if you're dating someone else in your personal life, right? और आपका co-founder आपको रात को 12 बजे कॉल कर रहा है, you have to know कि भाई this can wait, ठीक है, मेरी लाइफ उस पर टिकी हुई है, you know, तो रुक जाओ. And I will take Sudhanshu's calls, you know, because I know कि that is important, you know. तो जिस दिन ऐसा पार्टनर आपको मिलेगा, एक वो वर्किंग रिलेशनशिप, हेल्दी वर्किंग रिलेशनशिप, इफ यू कैन फिक्स दैट, नंबर 1, फिर इन्वेस्टर्स तो आते रहेंगे यार.
इन्वेस्टर्स
आई एम द बेस्ट.
यू आर द बेस्ट यार.
No, you know, मुझे ना ये सब समझ आ गया है. ये चीजें पहले ऐसी नहीं थी. You know, back in 2019 when we started, like exactly 3.5 years ago, right? इतना कटा है ना मेरा यार लाइफ में, इतना हुआ है ना भाई. Like 99 out of 100 people have stabbed me in my back. You know? And I'm like, I mean, I had a co-founder before this who ran away with the code. वो सब ड्रामा भी हुआ है. Oh my god. I'm like, यार, और मैंने उसको पैसे भी दिए थे उसके लिए. You know, and I'm like, what the fuck यार, ये मतलब क्या सब. All of that shit I've seen, you know. But फिर एक बार when this person came on board, Sudhanshu, and I will definitely say this, you know, he did not take any salary for 6 months. I went to London. I was completely broke. I went to London and I raised 1 CR from London back in 2019. You know, उस time पे तो funding ऐसे नहीं हो रहा था, like how it happened during COVID, right? Back in 2019 वैसे funding नहीं हो रहा था still, you know. उस टाइम पे I was supposed to go to London and I had to get my visa. You know, ये UK visa का, if you know, it has that 7 day में आपको मिल जाएगा, like you know, premium processing. तो कुछ 35,000 देने पड़ रहे थे. I didn't have even 35,000 rupees with me to really even get my visa. And I'm a multi-billionaire on the paper, okay? And I have a fucking 200 million committed. That time I didn't have 35,000 with me to even get that premium processing का पैसा. I called Sudhanshu. I'm like, Sudhanshu, लंदन तो मेरे को जाना है, ठीक है? Because I have to go get that money. यार अब मैं क्या करूँ? तेरे पास है तो मेरे को दे दे. He's like, you haven't paid me in 6 months. I know मुझे बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है. He's like, लेकिन मैं अपनी बीवी से पूछूंगी. किसको लेते? God, I'm like, okay, please tell her, okay, that you know we will definitely pay it back. ठीक है, कुछ भी हो जाए हम जो है पे कर देंगे वापस इस टाइम में. You know, मैंने पहले जो है अपना गोल्ड बेच रखा है. You know that मनप्पुरम गोल्ड लोन, बैंगलोर में बहुत फेमस है. तो मैंने मेरा कुछ गोल्ड देके पैसे लिए लोगों को सैलरी देने के लिए. And then you know this traditional parents का PPF होता है ना, मैंने तो अपना बॉडी like जितना हो सकता निकाल लो. My dad's like, ये इसका कुछ नहीं होगा. एटलीस्ट पीपीएफ पे छोड़ दे बेटा. One thing, few lakhs, no, कितना होगा पीपीएफ में, right? Initially the max you could put was like 70K or something पहले. Now I think it's like 1.5 lakhs or something, right? And I was like, कुछ लाख पड़े ये तो छोड़ दे. No, I am going all in, बस. Okay, it's either 0 or 1 for me. मुझे बीच का समझ नहीं आता, black or white, no gray. Okay, my dad's like, she's gone, she's lost it. Okay, he didn't talk to me for 2 months, you know that. He was furious. Like traditional parents, you know how.
I understand.
Like, I mean,
मेरी मम्मी का भी same case.
I mean, I come from you know, and I come from a very middle class, like you know, like family, but मैं निकल गई थोड़ा, like whatever. You know, I mean, for my dad, negative outlier, that is me. But for my team, I'm the positive outlier. तो ठीक है, कोई नहीं. तो फिर हाँ, वो सब उसके बाद भी 35,000 नहीं बचे थे मेरे पास. तो मैंने से बोला यार, तो लाइक अब तो पैसे भी नहीं है, अब कहाँ से वापस देगी मेरी बीवी को. सैक्रिफाइस नहीं करूंगा, मिला भी चादर. I'm like, यार फिर मैं किसी और से लेके जो है कुछ भी करके तेरी I will return it to your wife. He's like, तू बनी पार्वती.
Oh my God.
No, luckily हाँ उसकी वाइफ ने भी यार ट्रस्ट किया. उसकी वाइफ बंगाली है पता है. And she's from JNU. तो वहाँ पे अलग कहानी. She's like, ऐसे लोग ही लाइफ में आगे बढ़ते हैं. She's like, मेरे अंदर का खुद ही ना बोझ जाके. We are like high on like all that shit, you know. And she's from Kharagpur by the way. So हम लोगों ने बात किया. चल ठीक है मिल गया था. हम लोग जब दे रहा है तो 25,000 की जगह 70 दे रहे यार. चाहे रहना भी तो पड़ेगा ना हॉस्टल में.
आप अपना सेल्स वुमन ही हो. मतलब इतना दे रहे तो थोड़ा और दे दो. ये ले ही रहे हो 5 लाख दे रहे तो 7 लाख देंगे थोड़ा और.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I will tell you this story. You have to listen to this. You have to listen to this. Okay? And fuck, I hope he doesn't hate me for saying this, but I'll tell you. तो लंदन में तो गए फिर पैसे ऐसे ले लिया राइट. उसके पहले ठीक है उसके पहले भी एक ऐसा केस हो चुका है मेरे साथ जहाँ पे कि मतलब यू नो मैंने कुछ लाइक I mean after my first startup right, so I made some pretty good money and then I invested in like multiple different things right. यहाँ whatever. I've also invested in like bunch of startups and stuff. यार सब किया मैंने. I was like करना पड़ेगा right, you know. I mean I'm like that. तो बीच में मेरा हुआ था in 2018. This if you've heard of Startup Chile, you know, so I am one of their star performers.
Oh, very nice.
I'm the best. I'm just kidding. So you know they invited me like तो basically मुझको फ्री में 50 लाख दिए उन लोगों ने. ठीक है. I was like फ्री का पैसा है यार चलो चलते हैं भाई. ठीक है फोड़ देंगे. ठीक है. तो we went basically you know to like start my company there and like you know exchange of ideas and then all of those like get the best individuals from like around the globe. And 1 year I've lived in South America.
Oh, wow.
And on
1 साल का होता है ये.
अरे नहीं वो तो 6 महीने का होता है.
6 महीने एक्स्ट्रा रखी.
हाँ मैं घूमी ना पूरा एकदम भाई. बहुत मजा आया. मैंने बहुत मजा आया. ठीक है. and like learned so much about you know Spanish culture and Spanish colonies in South America. तो you know at that time वहाँ जाने के लिए मेरे पास पैसे नहीं बचे थे. तो क्या करें अब. तो मैं गई अपने जो है कुछ इन्वेस्टर कम्युनिटी के पास जिनसे मैं आई वॉज टॉकिंग टू यू नो फॉर माई लास्ट स्टार्टअप कि उसमें पैसे लगाने वाले थे वो लोग. मैंने जाके आई वॉज लाइक लिसन मुझे मिलना है आपसे. ठीक है 1-to-1 बात करनी है. तो दोज गाइज राइट नाउ they've invested in like name any startup they are invested in them. Like one of the leading investors from Bangalore. Very nice people. So one of their partners, I mean like one of their co-founding team, like he's the MD in that. So I went and met him and I was like listen मुझे एक opportunity मिला है और मेरे को यहाँ जाना है. ठीक है. तो मेरे पास ना पैसे नहीं है. मेरे पैसे खत्म हो गए और मेरे को 3 महीने एटलीस्ट लगेंगे टू गेट द मनी फ्रॉम देम. ठीक है. तो मुझे जैसे ही पैसे मिलते हैं मैं आपको जो है वापस कर दूंगी. ठीक है. लेकिन मेरे को चाहिए. ही इज लाइक कितना चाहिए. मैंने कहा 5 लाख. ही इज लाइक हाँ ठीक है कोई नहीं ले लो. अब आई एम लाइक ठीक है चलो.
You knew them before, huh?
Yeah. I mean like knew them as in like in a very formal way. Yeah, but I mean you can't just go ask money randomly, right, to people. अब मुझे पता है मेरा बाप तो मेरे को पैसे देगा नहीं. ये लाइक क्या कर रही है पता नहीं बकवास. राइट. तो आई एम लाइक कि यार यू हैव टू बी शेमलेस. अपॉर्चुनिस्टिक होना जरूरी है. अगर लाइफ में आगे बढ़ना है अपॉर्चुनिटी है आपके सामने राइट तो शेमलेस तो होना पड़ेगा. अब ये मतलब अपने अंदर रख लिया कि अरे यार पैसे नहीं है नहीं जा सकते चलो कहीं जॉब करते हैं फिर पैसे मिलेंगे फिर नेक्स्ट अप्लाई करते हैं. लाइक आई एम नॉट फकिंग वेस्टिंग टाइम गोइंग वर्किंग फॉर समवन. नो. पूछना में प्रॉब्लम क्या है. क्या होगा. नहीं आई कांट गिव. आई डोंट ट्रस्ट यू. ठीक है तुमने तो कोई और सही. ठीक है मैंने कुछ 2-3 लोगों से पूछा था पहले. They said that I mean they didn't have money. I was like ठीक है, no problem, it's okay, no problem. But this person was like yes, of course. फिर he gave me 5 lakhs to basically वहाँ जाने के लिए, and then I repaid it to him, and I was like listen, अगर आपको इंटरेस्ट चाहिए तो मुझे बोलना, no problem, मेरे पास तो 50 लाख आ रहे हैं अभी, तो आप बता दो, आपको दे देंगे. So he's like नहीं Sharmin, but when you are running a company, उस टाइम पे because of the person that you are, I mean whatever's there inside of you, just like that is the real me, like मैं आपके सामने भी वैसे ही हूँ. तो he's like कि मुझे तुम में पैसे लगाने हैं, when you are starting a company, तब तुम मुझे बोलना. मैं पक्का डन. तो मैंने मतलब बहुत कुछ किया है लाइफ में यार. ये तो now thankfully I'm in a position यहाँ पे कि आप किसी के सामने बोलना नहीं पड़ेगा कि पैसे चाहिए. But I mean now people chase me. I'm like कि
so is this person invested in Instoried now?
Yes. Yeah. And still hasn't exited, and I'm like आप करो भी मत, अब रहो.
IPO के बाद ही कर.
Yeah. तो like it's not that bad also. There are people who will understand you, but you need to have that in you कि भाई अगर हेल्प चाहिए तो हेल्प मांगो, मिलेगा. कुछ ना कुछ तो होगा. Something or the other will work out.
तो मैम ये बताओ, आपका how much of your life is book?
Wow. Most of it is. Yeah, this is such a tough question for an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I know. That's
I can't really quantify it, but in fact, I mean, I'll give you like a ulta answer. Work is not everything.
I agree. मैं इसलिए पूछ रहा हूँ ना कि लोग बोलते हैं ना कि you are the sum of the 5 people that you.
Oh, absolutely. My boyfriend has 2 startups.
Oh my God, really?
Can you believe it?
2 startup कैसे रन कर रहा है?
Believe it? एक एनालिटिक्स में चलाता है, दूसरा ऑर्गेनिक फूड्स. नहीं कि भाई ये क्या है, I mean one is this main thing, the other one he's like a he's a co-founder. तो हमारा तो मतलब डिस्कशंस भी वैसे ही होते हैं, तो
but same business नहीं है, तो इसलिए मेरे ख्याल से थोड़ा same.
Yeah, so it's fine. And I mean I am the one who's always on fire because I have investors, and looking at me he's like, and he's profitable, so he's like I am never getting investors. he's like एक इंसान investors के साथ मची हुई है, तुम बचाओ. ठीक है बेटा, मैं profitability हूँ. I'm like so you're absolutely right. I mean we become the average of the 5 people that we mingle the most with, right? तो
आपकी life
other than family of course.
ये 5
so
कौन है? As in, is it mostly work people or do you have other
so my best friend is handling partnerships and alliances at Instoried. उसको ले आई.
आप उसको hire कर ली.
Yeah, मैंने कहा बेटा तू छोड़ दे. She was in a one of India's leading fintech companies. She was working there. तो
जो अभी कॉर्पोरेट टाइप हो चुकी है.
हाँ वही उसी में थी. मैंने कहा बेटा आजा, अब बहुत हो गया वहाँ पे. तो I was and
but वहाँ पे pressure handling सीख जाते हैं लोग.
Exactly. So she's very good at that, and she keeps me calm. So she's also my counselor when it comes to यार ये नहीं हो रहा, ये क्या करूँ, like right? I mean like any sort of problem, she's my go-to person. तो as a founder, it is really important कि आपके core team में जो लोग हैं, right? उनमें से एक कम से कम has to be your therapist. Like
सबका mindset मेरे ख्याल से complementary होना. सारे लोग aggressive हो गए तो भी problem है, सारे लोग laid back हो गए तो भी problem है.
बिल्कुल ये तो बहुत जरूरी है. तो my core team is obviously the one that I talk the most to. But yeah, 2 very important people in my life. One is my boyfriend Jeet, and the other one is Sudhanshu, my co-founder.
The 2 loves of your life.
Yeah, इन दोनों के बिना नहीं चलेगा. So अभी एक के साथ personal life जुड़ा हुआ है, दूसरे के साथ तो मतलब प्रोफेशनल पूरा इट्स लाइक स्टार्टिंग से ही जुड़े हुए हैं, राइट? तो both the relationships go hand in hand, these two, and of course my closest friend who's my therapist. Anything I call, anytime I call her and I know that she'll be there, तो core team ये है. Other than that, there are two other friends. One lives in Germany, who's my school friend, and the other one, she also lives in Bangalore, who are very sorted, like when it comes to perspective in life, right? Perspective building. और मेरा एक और friend है who runs an edtech company, तो लगी हुई है edtech की, अभी तो बायजूस की लगी हुई है, तो edtech की तो लगी हुई है. तो there are those one or two peers, like I mean within my peer circle, right? Like I mean peer group, तो founders who I can just talk to, who I can talk to and have those कि यार लग गई यार क्या करे.
but मेरे को ये बताओ कितना how burnouts का आपका क्या take है, मतलब how do you
burnouts are real,
deal with?
So for me I travel a lot, like, and I am very good at working from anywhere around the world. I am someone who can sleep anytime, get up anytime. I sleep in tranches. Yeah, and each tranche is a bloody well power nap, So that helps. So any time zone I can be working, no problem. Like whether I'm in PST or IST or anywhere in between, no problem. So I travel a lot. It really helps. And I do these amazing shoots. Yes, I'm telling you, it's so important to be in love with yourself. Karan Johar understood this. इसलिए Pooh बना दिया. I am the real life Pooh. ये बहुत जरूरी है कि भाई मतलब give some love to yourself. Otherwise, मैं डिप्रेशन में रह चुकी हूँ. मुझे पता है what it feels like to just lie down on the bed and stare at the fan for hours. कि मेरी लाइफ की तो बैंड बजी हुई है, तो कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. ये मैंने किया है. और just like look out the window. अच्छा, वो कुत्ता पॉटी कर रहा है. पॉटी करके चला गया है. अब एक और कुत्ता आ गया है. उसको, for hours I have just stared out of the window, doing nothing, just looking at thin air. कौन आ रहा है, कौन जा रहा है, कौन आ रहा है, कौन जा रहा है. That's it, or moving traffic.
But do you think mental wellness has been handled? मतलब at least अभी भी मुझे वो लगता है कि while people have become conscious about it, people are not taking the requisite steps. People have started talking about it, but अभी भी मेरे ख्याल से when it comes to taking action,
totally,
लोग नहीं लेते हैं.
It's so important. I mean, your best friend has to be your therapist. एक therapist हर किसी की लाइफ में होना बहुत जरूरी है. So I got my therapist into my company. देखो क्या चाहिए बोल, तो आप हैंडल करेगी. ये कर, I mean, there is no harm in accepting this कि यार मैं डिप्रेशन में रह चुकी हूँ. I know how fucked up a state it is, and I didn't know what to do. And of course, at that point in time, I took professional help, psychotherapy, all of that. And मतलब बहुत बात किया, बहुत सारे, like took those sessions, understood and tried to, she used to give me homework. कि connect things that have happened in your life and then figure out why are you like this, right? And I did that full exercise. इतना clarity मिला है अंदर से. मुझे पता है how fucked up I can be. I know how terrible, what an idiot I can be in life. I mean, I have actually understood those facets of my life, and after a lot of work, was I able to conquer upon my mind. It was like 18 months of ridiculous therapy. Like, I mean, every week one session, like 1.5 to 2 hours, and then a lot of like introspection and stuff, and then taking notes. It's so important. Look, like people just talk and forget it, but take notes. Actually कि भाई ये मेरा strength है, ये मेरा weakness है, ये सही है. And this is my threat. वो SWOT analysis जैसे लोग करते हैं, right? वो करो. It really helps. एक बड़ा लंबा सा एक चार्ट, मुझे इतना मतलब like you know that moment of reckoning, right, when I realized, dude, this is how fucked up I can be in life, right, and how stupid I can be. And that is when you realize that, okay, fine, I'm fucked, this is where I went wrong, this is what I've done, you know. So now what? Now let's accept it. Now acceptance is a very very big thing, right? Most people are like still in that bargaining phase कि हाँ ठीक है, बॉयफ्रेंड कह रहा है कि मुझे नहीं चाहिए, मैं जा रहा हूँ, प्लीज आ जाओ, प्लीज आ जाओ, प्लीज बेबी, प्लीज बेबी, कैसे हो नहीं भाई, हो गया, accept it, ठीक है, stop bargaining. So once that acceptance comes in, which takes a lot of time,
there's no switch.
There's no switch. But once you have achieved it, एक बार वो कर लिया तो भाई there is no looking back. So मुझे 18 महीने लगे हैं, you know, and that's when I started Instoried as well. I was in such a fucked up state, I know, and you know, I could have done things differently, but it's okay, now I can't go back and change things. But now I am in that space mentally where I'm like, okay, I know, you know, now genius is in knowing where to stop, because you know yourself so well, right?
Yeah.
You've done that exercise. So now if you still want to go and make those mistakes that you made earlier, then you can't blame the universe, right? Then you're at fault. So yeah.
Hey, the reason why I'm saying this now, because for entrepreneurs especially, it's all the more important to understand the importance of mental wellness, is because they will deal with failures. It is inevitable. And if you don't know how to handle the failure aspect of things and you just want the success bit, वो फिर आपकी जिंदगी बहुत बुरी होने वाली है, फिर आपको ऐसे झटके लगेंगे जिंदगी में.
No, so that's why, you know, मैं तो मतलब you have to have a therapist in your life.
Like, absolutely.
In fact, you know, I would say like couples therapy हो, जो भी हो, right? It is always good कि यार अब तक कुछ हुआ नहीं, चलो फोन करते हैं therapist को. You know, like in the US, right? The maximum number of doctor appointments that are made with psychiatrists, psychologists and stuff, right? You know, because people are now starting to accept the fact कि यार mental health is the most important thing. और अगर आपको डॉक्टर की ज़रूरत है because you want to talk to someone, please talk. You know, there is no harm in it, because it's आपके यहाँ पे भी प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है.
नहीं absolutely यार, बॉडी का पार्ट है. बॉडी का पार्ट है, बस फिजिकली आपको दिखता है, इसका मतलब ये थोड़ी ना है. I probably would want to have a few questions around Instoried का थोड़ा सा बेट मुझे समझना था, because 2-3 चीजें हैं जो I think we didn't cover. One is the fact that you're selling in the US market. Primarily जो West है, Western part of the world is where your main target market is. And you never had an experience in that bit. मतलब आप मेरे ख्याल से music ना is where you also spend some time. How different is it from the Indian market, and how easy or difficult is it for selling?
Yeah, you know, from typical founders perspective, right? वो लोग बहुत बकवास करेंगे, मत समझो. You know, I'll tell you something. एक चीज ना जो समझ आ गया था बहुत पहले, कि इंडियंस जो होते हैं जनरली बहुत लॉजिक को फॉलो करते हैं. You know, Americans on the other hand are very emotional people. You know, selling in US is a completely different ball game. You have to understand the emotion of the person. You know, आप ये नहीं बोल सकते हैं कि यार you know, मतलब लॉजिक में, नंबर्स में, डेटा में घुस गई नहीं होगा. वहाँ पे नो
if they like you,
they will be with you for life. You know, you know, मतलब वहाँ पे relationship building, right? That is so important. You know, it takes months, years sometimes, but once you have that solid relationship, then selling in the US becomes really easy, especially in the B2B space. B2C is of course like, you know, I mean, like burning money, but in the B2B space, and if you want to get to, you know, a state wherein you're profitable and you're looking at getting a large IPO and stuff, right? Then B2B is the way. Very important that you emotionally sell karna, emotion based selling, right? They want to be heard. ये मुझे लगता है. मैं कुछ 700 calls पे बैठ चुकी हूँ with American clients so far. I mean with Instoried, and I've seen this. Everyone there just wants to be heard. कि भाई सुन तो ले कि मेरी प्रॉब्लम क्या है, क्यों बेच रही है.
नहीं, ये तो बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है because I think as anybody who's selling anything, सबसे बड़ी गलती तो ये करते हैं कि हम बेचने चले जाते हैं without listening कि सामने वाला को चाहिए.
Yeah, and they want to be heard. The minute they see कि यार ये तो मेरी बात सुन रही है भाई. I have had conversations wherein the person would have told me कि भाई उसके कुत्ते को कैंसर हो गया है, उसका मूड बहुत ऑफ है. लाइक आधे घंटे के कॉल में उसने 15 मिनट ही टोल्ड मी अबाउट हाउ हिज डॉग was diagnosed with cancer and how he's so sad, and then I told him about how much I like golden retrievers and how much I love cats and whatnot, and then shared my stories and stuff. यहाँ पे कुछ लोग क्या होते हैं कि यार अच्छा ओके फाइन, ये तो बहुत हो गया, आप चलो आते हैं बात पे, राइट? Don't do that. There they connect with you at an emotional level, and as on date, he's one of our largest paying customers. I didn't even talk to him anything about our product. I told him, listen, I don't think you're in a good space right now. I think, you should go see a therapist or maybe go hang out with a friend. Why don't you take your dog out for a walk? Something like that, Go sit by the Pacific. He's in Los Angeles. It was like, in Santa Monica, karo, aise. Because I live in Santa Monica, so I know, some places जहाँ पे आप जा सकते हो अपने डॉग के साथ. ये बोला मैंने और कॉल करके. And then also said कि this is not the best time to talk. We will reconnect when you're in a better space. I think right now what you need is that let me send you some of these links. जैसे like in India there's Therpup and all that. वैसे LA में there are some of these places where you can really go. You won't believe it. मैंने उसको, because I was also there in LA only उस time पे. I sent him some of those like as in like dog foods and then some organic stuff for his dog. He has loved it so much. He's like कि यार तुम मतलब और मैंने उसको वो सारे links वगैरह भेज दिए थे. You have to connect with people at an emotional level. If you can do that, and then that person got back to me after 3 months saying, Sharmin, I'm in a better space right now. Let's connect. I still remember because I mean वो आपने जो वो dog के लिए जो भेजा था, that was lying on the table and I thought of you. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, let's connect. Tell me what is it that you guys do. He's like, उसको अपने बारे में कुछ बोलना ही नहीं था because he knows कि उसने पहले इतना सब कुछ बोल लिया अपने बारे में. That day, that like supposed to have a 25-minute call that went on for an hour and a half. And in the next 1 month, we had signed a deal with them. So that relationship building, if you can do that, hear people out. So because it's a very very American thing. ये मैंने बहुत सारे cultures में नहीं देखा है, but in the US people really want to be heard, especially people living in like New York, East Coast, West Coast, where life is very fast, right? Especially these people. I mean, if it's Midwest and all, Chicago is still okay, but अगर West में है या East में है, where life is really fast, like in California and in New York, they want to be heard.
Okay, it's been a wonderful what 2.5 hours now that we have been speaking. थोड़ी बहुत चीजें मुझे समझनी है because you have been an entrepreneur for almost now 7-8 years now.
Yeah.
खुद से कुछ ना कुछ तो आप कर ही रहे हो. Three traits that you think an entrepreneur should have, and 3 mistakes which you think an entrepreneur should do.
3 things an entrepreneur should have. First, obviously, is that, people's person, right?
Have to be.
You have to be that person. You cannot not be a people's person, right? Because, when you're running a company, the most important thing is that how do you keep that ego outside the door always, right? And it's not just about you getting rich. It's about making everyone rich and growing together, right? So team first, like that sort of an attitude, and understand people, and that people, as in be that people person. Number two is, which for me is very, very important, which is again linked with number one, empathy. As in you have to be a very, very empathetic person. If you don't understand other people's problems, then you can't grow. It's not about just hiring and firing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's about, again, here also, retention is important. Like at least the core team. So empathy is extremely, extremely important. Third thing is that do not start a company for the money. You will anyway make money, if you're doing something good, and if there's, if you're getting customers and stuff, right? But do it because, you really want to make a difference. Yeah, I mean, that is something which, which should be the crux of actually starting anything that you want to, right? So it's always team, people, and your empathy. And number three, what is the impact at what scale? Now that impact can, even be that, okay, I have 300 employees. The impact is that I've given jobs to so many people, which is great, no problem. But think of the impact always, rather than just thinking about how much is my bank balance growing.
तो entrepreneur founder का तो बढ़ता नहीं है ना.
हाँ, वो तो 3 साल लग जाते हैं.
और 3 mistakes आपको क्या लगता है?
That people should avoid. Founders should avoid 3 mistakes. First is obviously starting a company for the money. That is the mistake. I mean, starting a company for the money is like getting into a marriage for the sex. Don't do it. Number 2 is that, chasing valuations. Don't chase valuations, at least if it's your first company. Second company, yeah, makes sense. First company, think about making your investors richer. Because once they start trusting you, they start believing in you. Even if you're selling shit in the next company, they'll still back you. Chalo, kuch na kuch to kar hi lega. So that is really, really important. Think about making your investors rich in your first company, and don't think about the valuation, right? And people for like 1-2%, they be like, no, why should I dilute so much? Are diluted? Beggars can't be choosers. If you had the money, then you wouldn't be going to investors, right? So that is really, really important, that don't think of valuation too much if it's your first company. And lastly, one mistake that people should definitely avoid, in my opinion, is that people just keep hanging on to something. That sunk cost fallacy, if you've heard of.
Yeah.
Right? कि इतना invest कर दिया तो चलो अब तो कर ही लेते हैं. Don't do it. If it is not working, leave it. Start something, start something new. It's like how relationships work, right? This is your professional thing. So if your relationship isn't working, and if the marriage isn't working, break it off. So don't just be hung on to a startup because you're like, अरे इतना कुछ कर लिया, अब तो चलो कुछ कर लेते हैं. If it's not working, please quit.
Wise words.
Learned from our mistakes.
Yes. अरे यार, ये तो मेरे ख्याल से जब तक हाथ चलते नहीं है ना, तब तक मतलब words don't make sense till the time you've done it yourself. आपको नहीं होता ना, तब तक आप होता रहेगा. जब होगा उसके बाद. Totally. So अभी क्या प्लान है आप Instoried के साथ? What's next? आपने अभी जो आपका 10 मिनट में अभी
Recently.
So now what's the plan? What story did you tell?
The plan is very simple. Getting to profitability in the next 12 months. is the only plan, because if you can be a profitable company during recession, imagine what can you do when the market's open. So I am not talking to too many people. I am just focusing on sales right now, right? अब तो revenue ऐसे बढ़ाएंगे हम लोग, like, as in 200% growth within the next 12 months is what we want to get. And how do we get there? By focusing on the American, soil. And I am to giving open chetavni to Americans. Watch out, a brown woman is coming to fuck your case, guys. Okay? I am coming to completely disrupt the American system, the American way, and live, my Indian American dream. So,
all the very best judgment from our side as well, I guess. All of us, in fact, we are now planning to start.
Oh yeah, you should.
हमारी तो हमेशा से प्रॉब्लम रही है.
Yeah.
But all the very best. I am sure that you're going to walk in the world and I will bring you more of this.
Absolutely.
Not just in India, but this time around the world as well.
I'm the best. Yeah, self-love बहुत जरूरी है. Yeah. So what to do as a founder? Love yourself. Please.
सबसे पहले आपका.
Yeah. Love yourself. Yeah.
कैसा लगा हमारे?
I really liked it. Yeah. I've never had such a podcast. Like, I've never spoken my heart out like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you took me to that level. You asked me such questions. Like, I've never spoken about depression. Like, I mean, to friends and like people, yeah. But like, you've taken me to a level wherein I'm like, yeah, I was just so comfortable talking about anything and everything. So it was really nice. Like, not just work, but you got the real person out. I was like, poo, yeah. I was being myself. So
Thank you
that was
very
really
much.
nice.